Hey everybody, it's Joe here with your weekly email update. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes and watching these email announcements each week. It's so important to help keep you involved and make sure everybody knows what's going on here at Church 180 each and every week. Now I will tell you this, at the end of this segment there's going to be a very important announcement from Pastor Paul, and I need you to stay tuned to that. There's a little boy in our church that really needs our help, and he's going to tell you how you can help him. So please take a few minutes at the end of this segment of announcements to watch that message from Pastor Paul, and if you missed it in church today, this is the opportunity for you to see it. That being said, let's go ahead and get started. Ladies, we have a Godspeak event coming up next Saturday at 9 a.m., September 10th, 9 o'clock a.m. You are not going to want to miss this. It's an amazing opportunity for women of all different churches all over Rock Hill to come together and do some fellowship, to worship God, and hear an amazing story from an incredible lady. This weekend, you're going to have the opportunity to listen to Fran Hinson's story, and it's an incredible one where God is at work in her life. So don't miss it. Mark it on your calendars. Bring a friend on out, 9 o'clock next Saturday morning. Next, we have the men's breakfast the following Saturday. Now, men, this one's going to be a little different than we've had in the past. We're actually signing up for a cornhole tournament, and we want you to come out, bring your cornhole skills. We have a number of boards, and it's going to be an amazing opportunity just to have some fun, maybe a little trash talk, but most importantly, just having a good time with other guys. So men, you're not going to want to miss this. This is going to be an amazing time for you to come out, show off your cornhole skills, and maybe do a little bit of trash talking as we have this tournament. So what you need to do is you need to sign up in the lobby at the church next week when you come here, or you can do the really easy way and just go to www.church180.tv/events, and there you'll see a link to sign up for the cornhole tournament. We'd love to see you out there. We have a number of boards, and we're looking forward to a great time next 2 Saturdays from now on September 17th. Hopefully today you were at church and you were able to see Reverend Marshall Nord. He delivered an amazing sermon. It was an awesome opportunity for us to hear from another speaker here in our church who can tell us about the amazing opportunities we have as we grow closer to God. If you missed that at all, go to www.church180.tv/watch, and you'll be able to catch up right now on what was going on today in the service. Promise, it's not going to be a waste of your time. You're definitely going to enjoy that. Now here, I want to take just a few minutes, like I said at the beginning, and show you this announcement from Pastor Paul. It's very important. Please take a few seconds of your day and watch this and see how you can help.
Hi, church. We're going to take just a couple of minutes to do something that's all about our family. If you're new here today and you're checking our church out, you actually have an opportunity to see how we believe the church should function. If you don't know, my name is Paul. I'm the lead pastor here at our church, and
I'm Jim.
And Jim is on our advisory team. He's one of the wise men that gives us counsel and offers prayer and encouragement and whatnot as we seek to lead our church. So, we want to take just a couple minutes today. We have a man in our church, a family in our church, and they're in a point of crisis, actually, and it's time for the church to step up. St. Paul wrote a word to the Galatians, and this is what he said, and it's appropriate for us in this environment. He said, when we have the opportunity, we should do good to everyone, especially to those in the family of faith. And one of our family members is in trouble. Some of you know Brian Lockhart, and Brian is a single dad. He has 4 kids, 2 teenagers, and 2 little people. Samantha is
about 9.
And little Brian is
7. Just turned 7.
Brian is a single dad, as I mentioned. He's also a business owner. He has a contracting business called Ideal Solutions. Recently, Brian received some pretty devastating news. Jim, you want us to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I would. Young Brian was feeling some discomfort, and they took him in for some tests. They did a test and found that he had a tumor on his kidney. Turns out that he has a very rare childhood cancer called Weems. It affects the kidneys. He had to go into the hospital. They removed the kidney, and then they discovered that the tumor had metastasized and had spread to his lymph nodes and also to some of the arteries. So they took out quite a bit of lymph nodes and the arteries, and now he's going through an extremely aggressive program to try and eradicate the tumor. He has to take chemo and radiation. He has chemo and radiation 8 hours a day for 5 days. Then 3 weeks he goes in for 8 hours one day, and then after that 3 weeks is expired, then they go back in for a full week of 8 hours per day. And that particular diagnosis and treatment is going to last for a year, because this cancer is very, very aggressive. And for young Brian to survive this cancer, they feel that that's the absolute right diagnosis for them to participate in and go through. As you can well imagine, it is wrecking the immune system for young Brian, so we're trying to be very cautious about this as well.
Right. I'm sure you can imagine, too, as a parent, your desire would be to be right by your child's side as much as you possibly can, and of course that's how Brian feels. However, as a business owner and as a single parent, as a provider for his family, he does have to go to work. And so what happens is, because little Brian can't leave the house, they have him isolated in a sterile environment, and they're going to have to bring someone in to provide some form of care for Brian. It's going to be a costly proposition. And so we are reaching out to you in hopes that the church together will come alongside of our friend and our brother and be the church, do what we're supposed to do. So there's 3 ways that we're asking you to consider helping. The first would be, if you can participate financially and just write Brian and his family right into your budget and make them a part of your line item to kind of help offset this cost they're going to be incurring over the course of these next months. And I'll tell you in just a minute how you can do that. That would be the first way. The second way, perhaps you're sitting here today and you actually have the qualifications to provide some form of service, and you could help as a caregiver for Brian. That would be the second way. A third way, and everyone in our church can do this, and I encourage you to do that, would be to pray for and send notes of encouragement to Brian and little Brian, his entire family, quite frankly. So here's how we can do this. If you are one who can support financially, and quite frankly, any amount is absolutely welcome and helpful. You can either go online to church180.tv, and there's a link on our website where it says online giving. You can click there, and there will be an option that says Care Team, and you can give to Care Team, and those monies will be used to help to offset the expenses that Brian's going to be incurring. The second way is, if you're a qualified caregiver, or you think you're a qualified giver, you can send an email to careteam@church180.tv. Send an email, and we'll make sure it gets to the appropriate persons, and they will help you to navigate your next steps. The third way is, if you want to send a note of encouragement or a note of prayer, you can also send that to careteam@church180.tv, and we'll make sure all of that information gets to Brian, because the one thing we don't want to do is just overwhelm their home. Right. At this point. It's not safe for little Brian.
That's correct.
And it also just might be a little overwhelming as they try to navigate this. So again, the 3 ways that we're asking you to help, and we're asking you to help as soon as you possibly can. Financially, you can go online, you can give. You can send a note to careteam@church180.tv if you have further questions, or you can just put something in the offering designated Care Team, and we'll make sure that goes to helping Brian. The second way, you can volunteer to serve, careteam@church180.tv, or you can send notes of prayer and encouragement to careteam@church180.tv, and we'll make sure that they get it. So thank you, Jim, for kind of keeping us up to speed on this whole thing. So thank you very much, and let's jump in. Let's show what the church is all about. And Brian, when you see this, we want you to know we love you, and we're praying for you. All right? Thank you, church.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for tuning in, and we hope to see you involved in some of these events. And if you have any questions at all, you can always contact me directly. My email is joe@church180.tv. Thanks a lot. Look forward to seeing you next week. Have an awesome day.